Alright, now the next thing often asked by students is how do you duplicate, how do you move, how do you join? Well, not join because you didn't know what join was, but there's a lot of common questions at this point, usually in a classroom. So let's look at duplicate first. If you grab this box in object mode and hit Shift D and then right click, I can now move this object out, and I have two of them. Again, click it on with the left mouse button, Shift D, right click, click and drag. Okay. You can hold Shift and highlight several objects and hit Shift D, right click, move, just like that. And you can imagine you can quickly build up a wall or whatever. Now if you want these objects to function or share components, right now I have to click on each one and hit Tab to get into the components. Also, you can look over here and you'll see that they are in fact separated. There's 6 of them altogether. If I hold Shift and highlight each one all the way across, notice that the circle turns orange over here, and then I can go to Object and join them. I now have one. And underneath that I have the vertex group and the material. But I can never get to each individual one in object mode now. So if I'm in object mode, this is an object. I can't separate it in object mode. In edit mode I can, however. If I hit Tab again, let's say I want this cube. If I hover over the top of it and hit L, L highlights the entire object as long as it's separated via components. In other words, if I had two vertices that were touching and joined together, this would not work. So L allows me to highlight objects. Off clicking allows me to deselect them. If I want this one separated now, I have to go like this. L over the top of it, Mesh, Vertices, Separate, Selection. Now if you hit Tab again, you'll find that in object mode you have now 2 cubes. Well, these cubes which are joined and this cube separated. But if you look, the point is over here now, the center point. So immediately after you unjoin something, you have to go to Transform and say Origin to Geometry. This will place the origin point back into the middle of the geometry where you can now move, rotate, and scale it from the center of that object. Okay, so that is joining and separating. In itself, done so often, it's pathetic. So please take time before you go on to try that out. Join a couple objects together, separate them out, and then meet me in the next video.